and a good Thursday evening to you out there, everyone. This is the WyoNation Roundup. I am your host, Chad Smith, and for a second week in a row, I am joined by our good friend Shea. Good evening, Shea. How you doing?
Good, Chad. How are you?
Doing great. Excited to talk some Wyoming football. The news and the tidbits keep rolling in as the practices roll on. Fall camp is in full swing, and we'll talk about the linebackers today and then some other tidbits at the end of the show. But yeah, it's coming quick and thick and fast.
23 days, 22 days.
Yeah, something like that. So August 8th now, of course. August 31 is our target date. And so welcome on into the Roundup. We are streaming, as you know, live on YouTube. So if you're watching the replay, thank you. But live is a great way to interact with us. You can send in your comments, send in your chats. Unfortunately, we are still only on YouTube until we get that blue check mark on Twitter. So we can stream because Elon wants his money for the streaming. So if you are here on the YouTube channel, you can leave your live chats, ask us questions, leave your comments. And most importantly, if you're watching, please hit that like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Help grow the channel. Like the only channel out there that's talking Wyoming football, as far as I know of. So we are happy to be here. Excited for all the great feedbacks. Last week we got feedback from parents of a player who plays on Wyoming's defensive line, thanking us for doing the great breakdown. So thank you for watching. And it's cool that we can connect in such a way. But today we are going to do the linebackers to start with. So let's bring up that linebacker list. And there she is. See if we can maybe adjust this a little. There we go. I didn't crop this one as cleanly as last week, so don't mind the white space there. But Wyoming has 11 linebackers on the roster for fall camp. And they've only lost one, Shea, off last year's roster. And that would have been, well, not one, but one starter. And that would have been one Easton Gibbs, who the good news is, I think, was it yesterday or the day before, he signed a contract with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, I think he's in high demand. I'm not sure what the Seahawks were thinking, but they don't want to be the Legion of Boom anymore. So
yeah, and I'm still very confused how he didn't get drafted. Do you have any theories?
You actually make more money not being drafted in later rounds. He probably made more money as
Sure.
undrafted free agent. So I don't know what teams look for. I mean, you look at guys like Dewey or even Logan Wilson going third round. That's cool, but those guys are first, second round talents. So I don't know if people were just nervous because of the Wyoming name, but maybe that starts changing when you have three linebackers in the NFL.
Yeah, that's what I thought for sure, that with Wyoming's history that he would have gotten drafted, because you were early, like his stock was pretty high. You'd see mock drafts with him going like, fourth, fifth round. But I agree with you. If you're going to get drafted that late, financially, it's probably better to be a free agent where people can fight over you, and B, you can select where you get to go.
Yep.
And I think Pittsburgh is a great landing spot for him, their defense and what they've done. I don't know much about the roster, if he has if there's a pathway to make the roster or not.
They run a 3-4, so they need more linebackers. So it makes sense that he would go there, and he's played outside and inside. So
yeah, so we wish Easton Gibbs all the good luck. His production last year, again, off the charts, 109 total tackles, 47 solo, 62 assisted. And do you know where he ranks all time on Wyoming's total tackle list?
Ooh. Let's go with 8th.
There you go. You must look that up. Not too long
I didn't
ago.
look it up.
Okay. No, well, I mean, not now, but maybe you're reading about it. But yes, 8th. He is 8th in the total tackle list. And then while I was looking at that list, probably a record that will not be broken, but Galen Thaxton still number 1 at some ridiculous amount of tackles, I think. Right. I don't even know. We could do some live research.
I'll shout out to my insurance agent there in Laramie. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, cool that he's still in town. I think I met him once when I was there. I can't remember for sure, but let me try to see if I can peruse his media guide really quickly to run down your. Here we go. Top 10 career tackles. How about Galen Thaxton with 467 tackles? Now, to his credit, Wingard second, 454. So he came pretty dang close. But you have to be a tackling machine. Third place, Jim Talich, 440. And then even Logan Wilson, 421. So, I mean, to get to 467 is going to take quite the talent. But you never know.
yeah.
But the way Wyoming's developing linebackers, that name could be somewhere on this list. So let's start breaking it down. I guess the two presumed starters. So remember, Wyoming plays a 4-2-5. You have a middle linebacker and then a weak side linebacker. And traditionally, they've used the strong side linebacker to be more of a, right, your tweener position, more of a linebacker / safety combo. Again, I don't really know who's going to step up into that slot right now. We'll talk about that with the DBs, I guess, when we get.
Yeah.
But right now, your presumed starter at middle linebacker is he the convert? Is he the QB convert that you've been talking about on Twitter?
Yeah, he was a quarterback in high school.
And that, of course, is Shea Suianoa, number 43, 6'3", 232. Entering his senior year, will be moving from the weak side to middle linebacker. And last year, a very solid season, 93 total tackles, 60 solo, 33 assisted. He actually had more solo tackles than Easton Gibbs. So they are moving him inside, and I think we've talked about this a little. I think we both agree that it's a move that is going to help him, I think, quite a bit.
Yeah. Gives him the whole field instead of half the field.
Yeah. So I think he's a shoo-in to have over 100 tackles.
Oh, yeah.
So I think he's going to just be a machine there, and he'll be better positioned. So the thing with him is that he likes to miss a tackle from time to time, but I think getting him more centrally, as you said, I think he'll take better angles to the ball in that case because the action will be coming more right at him than kind of on the sides where I don't know with him if it's a technique thing or if it's a concentration thing with the missed tackles.
What I noticed is he would be there. Like Marcus Epps was one of the best tacklers I've ever seen, and to Winger's credit, I know we just mentioned him on the list. He was the same way where they would just dive at guys' legs, and in high school, you could probably get away with just diving at guys' legs, but at this level, guys can keep their balance. And to Shea's credit, there's been articles about it on him about, hey, I got to get better at tackling. And the first year he started weak side, he only had like 70 tackles. And he missed, I think there was a stat on it. I'm not just calling out Shea by any means, but there was a stat on it that he'd missed like 25% of the tackles.
Yeah.
So just imagine, I mean, barely cleaning, like 93 tackles and 2.5 sacks. And I think he's probably one of the best blitzers on the team besides Wyatt Eckler now you have him in the middle and he's going to blast that A gap like every linebacker has done. And there's no stopping it if you have Berganoli in the middle and Devon Harris. Shea's going to be wide open flying in.
Yeah, he's going to have a lot of cover to make those tackles. All right. On the other move, your presumptive starter, and we'll see once everything gets rolling, but it's going to be another Shea, but last name, Connor Shea, is moving from the weak side back up. Oh, no, he is, into a weak side starter. So Connor Shea, 6'2", 232, also a senior last year. Only 15 total tackles, but again, in a backup role, Wyoming pretty much plays their linebackers almost every down. Not a whole lot of rotation, so that's why last year the two starters had, close to 100 tackles. So now Connor Shea is going to step up into that starting lineup, presumably. And I guess what's your kind of scouting report on him? And do you think that he will get into that, 60 to 70 tackle range, which we've seen with the weak side linebacker?
Well, I think he'd probably be higher. He had 8 tackles against Air Force alone. So out of those 15 tackles, he brought 8 of them against Air Force.
Yeah.
So and they run a 4-3.
Linebackers?
Yeah, they run a 4-3 obviously against Air Force, but the guy tackles. He's been kind of in the system for a while. I mean, he'll probably be in the 70 mark. And to their credit, the guys behind, as we talk about it, people are going to be pushing these guys. So if they don't produce, just Connor, because Connor was pushing Easton last year in camp
Yeah,
for that middle linebacker position. So I think Connor's got some talent that he could. All right, well, you don't want to cut it, or you get injured, or something like that. The guys are going to be pushing, just like the defensive line. There's a lot of talent on this list that's going to push.
100%. And there's the added bonus of what your coach, your linebacker coach in the Younger Bowl is now your defensive coordinator. So a little more of a piece to that puzzle as well to motivate these linebackers.
Big boys on the roster for linebackers for Wyoming.
Yeah. Other guys who have playing experience, Shea, I've got it written down. You have Cole DeMarzo there, number 25, the transfer from Michigan State. He had 14 total tackles last year in a backup role. And then other guys on this list who played a little last year would include Michael Young, had 7 total tackles. And then you got 2 guys who barely had any in Reed's son, played some. I think he had 1 tackle. I looked it up. And then Nick Talich actually played in all games last year, mainly on special teams, of course. But he does have experience as well. So those are your guys who played last year. And I guess the big thing with the newcomer, you'll see up there, number 22, Evan Eller, I think is very interesting in terms of how they're going to use him and to see if he can push, right? He could presumably win a starting spot in this fall camp. He's coming from VMI, FCS school, had 106 total tackles last year in the FCS, which ranked 16th in that division.
Yeah, before people get high, like I know people like to talk down the FCS. The SoCon is not a conference in the FCS to make fun of. They had 3 teams in the playoffs last year. They have 3 teams ranked in the top 15 this year. I mean, Evan Eller played basically. They have a great defense. They had good running backs, and they had 0 passing game, and that's why they were 5-6 in the FCS.
Yeah.
So he's got the talent, and maybe with his size, because he's on maybe the smaller end or the stockier end, that you bump him out there to the nickel position maybe a little bit more.
Oh, yeah. When Wyoming are in those 3 linebacker sets, yeah, I think he's probably the guy who's going to be out there.
Yeah.
But, I mean, there's other guys as well. Michael Young played the most of anybody else on this list. It's pretty interesting. And then there's a freshman that we're both pretty high on, number 46, Dash Bauman, 6'2", 200 out of Nebraska. Very athletic. I think the question with him is, will the staff choose to redshirt him with all the talent ahead of him, or will he make enough of an impact on this coaching staff to where he's kind of in that talent role last year where he's playing on special teams just because he's athletic, fast, and can tackle?
Yeah, I mean, 200, he's lavish on the – I mean, there's safeties bigger than him on the roster, so we'll see. He didn't get the leg up like some kids did coming in early to get the workouts in. So I think you're fine. I mean, Talich destroyed a Hawaii wide receiver last year coming across the middle. So it was looking like his dad back there ripping people's heads off coming across the middle. So I would say redshirt all the freshmen if you can. Micah Young saw time against UNLV. All these guys have seen time. And it's probably a little bit different for Evan, but you just don't have 109 tackles and don't come up the next level, and it's not hard to produce.
Yeah.
That same type of thing. So
I think it's going to be really interesting to see what the coaches say about him. And
Yeah.
if he can make a dash in this, if they try to tweak their system a little bit, right? We don't know. Some answers that we'll hopefully get, and this is a good segue. Next week is actually UW Football Media Day in Laramie, and I will be there
Oh,
to get some interviews and stuff. So I'm pretty excited about that. I got a list of players put in that I would like to interview. I was thinking about putting Eller in there, and now I kind of wish I did. I didn't, but I'm sure, right? If someone else asked, he'll be there and available. I think he'd be an interesting guy to talk to. Um, but yeah, I'm looking forward to getting to Laramie for media day and getting to talk to some of these players and these coaches. And I'm still figuring out my technology, how I'm going to record some of this, the best way to do it with what I have on hand, but should have some good stuff for everybody on the channel next week from media day.
be fun. I mean, you got guys on this. I mean, Nick probably doesn't get a lot of interviews, and maybe worth a good interview there.
Yeah, we'll see who's available. And as I said, I put in some like different types of guys that may not be as popular. And so hopefully I'll be able to get some, good in-depth stuff there. But yeah, this linebacker group is pretty stacked, I'd say. And yeah, in this day and age of the transfer portal, I don't know, right? You kind of have to play your best players, but I agree with you. It'd be best if we could redshirt some of these young guys, knowing that, right? Eller's going to be gone here. He's a one and done. Shea and Sue and Noah are both gone. So you got probably your 3 top linebackers all need replaced next year. And you'll have a handful of guys who have some experience there. Like Young would be a senior at that point. Talich will be a senior. So you have guys who could step in. But yeah, it's really interesting, right, in this new age of the portal of how you balance playing time versus development.
Yeah, I think what's on Wyoming's side when you have 3 linebackers in the NFL, kids may want to hang on. I just need a chance. Just put me in this defense and just give me a chance. But Cole DeMarosa was hurt in the spring. I don't know if he's practicing yet, or I haven't heard much if he ever how bad that injury was. So
Sure,
I don't know
yeah.
if Cole is around or not.
I
But
think
I
I think
I
he's
thought he played
okay
well.
because I haven't
Yeah.
heard anything about him being held out. Maybe we can dig into that. After the show, I'll dig into it and put that out on Twitter if there's anything, but I'm pretty sure he's back.
Okay. Yeah, I would say you got your four main guys, and then your fifth guys as you need them to come in. Guess we'll see. Aaron's got a. It's nice. It's a nice problem to have, I guess.
No, exactly. It is a nice problem to have. And yeah, a nice list of guys, a deep linebacker room. You're only having to replace one starter. And I think this is going to be a highly productive group for sure.
Yeah, need it to be.
So I don't know. Any final thoughts on this group before we get to some grades?
I think I know Dash got called out by Sawbell for being like the next Muma, but I'm pretty high on that Adrian Onyego kid out of Minnesota. Kind of reminds me of a Granderson. He's built like Granderson right now. So
Yeah.
I'm not saying he goes to the defensive line or if he just becomes like that tweener, like a Kevin Prosser that Wyoming has clearly missed. So we'll see. He could be a kid that pushes for playing time.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of different paths here. So it will be interesting. Yeah. On 28, Adrian Oniego, they actually don't have his name listed in the phonetical guide, which I find kind of crazy. So I have no idea
Yeah.
how you pronounce that.
So we'll have to wait till Keith Kelly gives it on the call, and then we'll know.
Yeah. Other guys, right? Nick Talich, we talked about, son of the great Jim Talich. Again, another guy who could be in the mix. I don't know much about Jack Harvey, right? The other freshman there, and then there's Gary Rutherford as well, another freshman.
I
But
don't
yeah,
know. Maybe they're changing up that they're going to put these linebackers out there as a little bit bigger than a Rook Brown, and maybe they're kind of going back to more of a natural 4-3, or they're going to stay to 4-2-5. So we'll see.
yeah, no, I think it's a good balance of classes here, and we'll see how it looks. But grade wise here, I don't know. You almost have to give it a B plus. It'd be an A, I think, for sure. If maybe you had both starters coming back, but I have a lot of confidence in Shea coming in and getting the job done as a senior. And
Yeah.
as we spoke about Noah, I think he's not going to miss a beat. He's going to move right in the middle linebacker, should do well. So, and the depth that we just talked about, Eller is going to provide great depth. And then you got Micah Young, who's probably the fourth linebacker if you had to put a number on these guys. So, yeah, I think a B plus easy could be an A at the end of the
Yeah.
season, and that's what we hope. But I'd say coming into the season, linebacker position is looking very good.
Yeah. B plus, or even if I guess we knew more about a depth chart after spring, kind of where guys were, but I think Cole's probably your fourth guy,
Oh, he could
your
be.
linebacker, if he's
Sure.
healthy. But like I said, if one of the starters isn't producing, there's going to be guys clawing to get at that. So
No, yep, 100%. So it's a good problem for have. Wyoming's got a lot of linebackers, a lot of talented linebackers, but again, only in the base defense, there's only 2 of them on the field at any time. So you got 2 guys fighting for 11 spots. But of course, right, there's the sub packages where they're going to get used a lot. Short yardage, goal line, where you'll have
yeah.
4 linebackers in there at times. So these guys will get their chance to play and make plays and impress the coaching staff for sure. All right, let's kill that. And I see we have people watching on the stream on the @WyoNation channel on YouTube. Know that while we're streaming here live, thank you for watching. We do have the live chat button. So if you have comments, questions, you can put them in the chat as we're live here. We will see those live on air. We'll put them on the screen and we'll discuss it with you all. And again, thank you for watching and helping support the channel. And as I said, media day is next week. So I'll have hopefully some good stuff to report back from that, some good audio, some good video. But we have a couple of little tidbits here. Saturday, Shea, is going to be the first scrimmage of fall camp.
Oh.
So Savell was talking about that, I guess, on either yesterday or Tuesday, whenever the last practice was. I can't remember. But he did say Thursday is going to be the first scrimmage at the war there. So I think after that practice, we might hear a little more about some stuff. Another thing that he did mention that kind of got people talking was the wide receiver Stevenson was
Oh
mentioned
yeah.
as a guy who's a playmaker. So the head coach is saying that he's a playmaker and he's going to play 100% this year. So I do believe he's a redshirt freshman
Yep.
out of Texas somewhere, I do believe.
Going to be. I did hear him say Dwayne McNeely's not playing in this scrimmage, but the next one he is going to play, so he must be getting closer.
Yeah.
Good luck. Good luck to those defenses when you have that 4-headed monster.
Yeah. No, it's good
5-headed
news.
coming at you. So
Hopefully he's confident enough in that leg, and I hope he can play, right? Because it's his senior year. And we want him to be able to be productive because it's going to help the football team out a lot if they can really rotate at that running back spot, because I think they're going to have to still rely on that running game quite a bit. And if you can rotate these guys through and just keep people fresh, I think the running game could take an extra level, because I think the passing game is going to be a lot more of a threat. But we'll get into that more in the future as we take a broader look at things. But I think, yeah, this scrimmage is going to give us kind of our first insight into what the coaches are thinking and what they choose to release to the public after that practice.
Is there any more public scrimmage? Is there going to do like a last scrimmage public, or was only the first practice? Have you heard that was open to the public?
I know there is a schedule that shows what is what. I'd have to look that up.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's going to be one that's open to the public per se. I do know that there are several more media ones where they're able to watch a portion of practice. But I'm not sure if there's anything that's truly public, but there could be. Maybe the last scrimmage might be. But that's something I'll dig into.
Missed the Joe Glenn days where everything was open.
Yeah, for sure. And then other tidbit has nothing to do with football, but Wyoming basketball and head coach Sundance Wicks got their first commitment for the class of 25. And a guy named, let me go to my Twitter here, Gavin something. I think Gavin Gore.
Yeah, I think Sundance was on him at Green Bay. So
Gavin Gore, I do believe is his name. Hold on, there's a lot of activity today. Nope, I went too far back. Gores, Gores, Gavin Gores, a 6'10" player out of Wisconsin, was recruited, of course, by Green Bay and Sundance when he was there, and he also had a scholarship offer from. What did I had it? I looked it up. I think it was Illinois and South Dakota State.
Yeah.
Another post player, first guy to commit, right? And that's a big thing for a guy to commit to Sundance Wicks before he's even coached a game for Wyoming. So that must show you the faith he has in Sundance Wicks and the relationship that he's built.
I saw one of his stat lines was like 41 and 18 in one of his games in high school.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't look at his stats.
Jeez.
To see what he was doing. Let's see if we can find some stats here. Right now, I know he has he's not rated. There's no stars on him. Gavin Gores. Here's an article from 247 Sports from yesterday saying that the Minnesota Golden Gophers have picked up interest in him. So that's interesting. But that was yesterday, right? So he's already committed. So,
yeah.
But he can always change his mind. But that's good to know. Minnesota is a pretty good school with bigs, especially.
Yeah, they definitely produce them out of there. So
and of course, I got some crazy thing going here. Let's see, what else do we have here on Gavin Gores? It says, here's one from July with Illinois. This is from an Illinois site. The program, Gavin Gore, 6'8", 210 from Cumberland High School, received a scholarship offer. Not a highly rated recruit, despite not being a 4 or 5-star prospect. Illinois aims to capitalize on Gore's early potential, impressed by his clean playing style and shooting ability. So there we go, right? So he's a big guy who can shoot.
Sounds like a Josh Davis mold then, under-recruited.
So we'll see. It sounds like he's about to catch fire here. So Wyoming kind of looks like struck while the iron's hot. So we'll dig more into that. Maybe we can do it right now. Let's see. This is a Rivals article. I'm just trying to find what his stats were. Let's see if we can go stats really quick and see what he did in high school. Here we go. This is directly from them somewhere. And it doesn't give stats, of course. Oh, it does. First team all-league selection. He averaged 28 points, 13 rebounds, and 3 block shots a game. Yeah, so first team all-league. Scored 51 points. And, here we go. This is why. It was 9 of 13 from 3 in that game.
That's good.
So there you go. So seems like a pretty interesting guy. So welcome aboard, Gavin Gores, your first commitment to Sundance Wicks for the class of 25. And we'll see if he can get some more. I don't know. I think basketball recruiting is is pretty wild these days. If you think football is, basketball is even crazier to keep track of.
Way too many teams out there compared to Division I, Division or FCS and FBS. So
Yeah.
interesting times here.
So there we go. So there is your Wyoming news of note. Again, I'll be in Laramie for Media Days, which I'm looking forward to. Hopefully, I have a lot of stuff for you there. And then for those of you into the NCAA 25 video game, they released a patch today that I think kind of mucked things up, in my opinion.
Played it yet?
It fixed a lot of stuff, but now I'm like incapable of running the ball. Like it's really hard to run the ball. And passing got a lot harder too. So like all the plays that I've been using all this time that were like my go-to plays, now they're just like getting picked off, and I'm trying to run the ball and I'm just getting jacked up, and I'm like, okay, well, time to relearn the game. Because
sound like an offensive coordinator at Wyoming there.
Yeah. Exactly. Got to change up my whole playbook. Time to re-engineer my offense.
I saw they were using like pro-rated players on those FCS teams because I couldn't figure out why. Obviously, Idaho's not in the game, but I was playing as Wyoming against Idaho, and I was getting stomped.
Oh, yeah.
Like my defense couldn't stop anything.
That team was really good. Yeah. I looked at their ratings. They had like players in the 90s on their team.
I was like, the quarterback was like a 95, and I was like, I cannot stop this.
For an FCS team, yeah.
Yeah, so I guess they cleaned that up because people work and play like, why is this FCS team like destroying me?
Yeah. It's kind of funny.
I hope the players get some time to play with themselves, to actually play as themselves on a video game. That's got to be one of the coolest things ever. So I know fall camp is rolling on for them, and they're probably watching a lot of film, but I do hope that the boys get to go home and do a game here or there just to
I'm sure they
have some fun.
Oh, here we go. Clint is in the chat. He says, agreed. The patch made running really hard. Got to go multiple offense, many more options. Yeah, you got to like, I'm just trying like every crazy formation I can to try to find a way where you can run the ball. Because I was having like, I think I played one dynasty, or actually two, because right, I was just playing, just learning the game, where I got Whaley was leading the nation in running because I give him like 30 carries a game and he's just running over people. But now, like, if I can get 4 yards on a carry, I'm like, woo! Otherwise, it's like 2 or 3 yards and you're just getting smoked. So, which is, I don't know if that's real or not. We'll have to see.
Yeah.
But it's different. That's all.
I'll have to try it. Maybe I'll wait for the patch to fix that, because if not.
Yeah. Maybe wait for the patch to fix the patch. Who knows when they're going to do that.
My 3-year-old will learn new words. So.
Yeah, and then throwing got a lot harder too. I had a game where I was playing Boise and I threw 3 pick sixes and lost because of that. Yeah. So yep, learning, but it's fine. I think, right. It's not like your old games where nothing mattered. Like you have to know how to read a defense to play these games, which I think is educational because it teaches you because it's real life coverages and you got to be able to read them and break them down and dissect them just like a real quarterback. So I think in that vein, it's pretty cool. But yeah, a brutal having to relearn. It's like, so I'm like a transfer player, like going to have to learn a whole new offense because the whole paradigm has changed in this game.
Oh no. My tight end's going to be in trouble. I'll have to figure it out. Everything was to the tight ends, so now I got to figure it out.
Oh, I forgot on the scrolling bar here. I do have a question. It's like, who is the next great Wyoming linebacker? Let's close the show out with that. So we'll bring up the list again. I mean, are we both going to just hop on the Dash Bauman train and say, yep, once he gets in that starting lineup, he's just going to be, and it may not be this year, of course, right? He may be until he's a junior, but is that the train we're going to hop on right now?
I'm gonna just hop on the Shea train.
Okay.
He came back. I was there at senior day last year at the Hawaii game,
Yeah,
and he was graduating. And then
it's true. Yeah, he did. He could be gone if he didn't want to play football anymore.
yeah, and now he's coming back to be like, all right, well, I think I still got it. So clearly, a fire reignited. Like he wasn't just done. And I just don't. You just don't stuff outside of football that clearly has got him fired up to be back on the field. So
All right, there we go. One for now and one for the future. How about that?
yeah, I'll do the. You already picked out. He's already got enough love. I'll go with the Adrian. We don't know how to say his last name
Yeah,
because beating
San
guy is
Diego.
failing. Yeah, is failing us.
Yeah. So we shall see. So, all right. Any final words before we wrap up, Shea?
Well, no. I hope you guys have a good weekend, and we see another patch. Or I'm going to be going to the Wishbone, I guess, on EA
Maybe,
Sports.
yeah. I might try the wishbone here after this. All right. Thank you, everybody out in the stream, for joining us. And yeah, please leave your comments on what you like about the show, what you'd like to see on the show. We are here for you to have fun, talk some Wyoming athletics. Again, I'll be at Media Week or Media Day. It's not a week. Media Day in Laramie. So hopefully come back next week with lots of good video and audio that we'll put up on the channel. So be on the lookout for that. And of course, Twitter's the best place to get the news there. So at WyoNation blog for me and at WyoNation.com for the big site. So, all right, Shea, thank you for joining me once again. And we will see you all guys soon for some more Wyoming football talk. So until then, take care. Go Pokes.